Welcome to Ticker Talk with hosts Max and Kate, podcasting from Treetown in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Ticker Talk shares the everyday success stories and science behind the heart rate-based functional aerobic fitness training practiced at CrossFit Treetown. Max and Kate explore the research, science, and practical experiences behind Ticker Training, a program developed by Max for just about everyone, your grandma, your cousin who runs marathons, and you. In this series, we'll explore what exactly heart rate-based functional aerobic fitness is, how what you eat affects how you move and how you feel, what tools to use in tracking progress, and how to fit training into your everyday life. Join us and learn something new to make a healthier you. Pace yourself.
Please. Please, come on in. Have a seat. Have a seat. If you guys are out there, I'll get too nervous. Yeah. I prefer you all just looking over my shoulder while I look at this. Yeah. Yeah, could you do that, Kelly? All right, you guys. Everybody here got a test? Yes? Awesome. How was it? Wasn't that horrible? Yeah, it was okay. Hi. Are you guys excited about what you're embarking on here? Something different, something new? Or are y'all a little bit like, what's going on? What kind of snake oil is Max selling? I'm going to slow down to get faster. I don't believe it. Believe it. Okay, so let me just I'm going to show you guys what this programming is proving and showing to do. Okay, and kind of its simplest avenues. Okay, so I've got a couple graphs here. Can you guys see these? This is calories burned. This is time. Got it? These would be what I have here considered like really good tests. So this would be total calories in green here. Sorry, that doesn't match, but this is total calories. The red would be fat calories in this graph. Can everybody see that okay? This point where they split, can you guys all see that? Where they like diverge and they go in opposite directions? That's what we consider your MAF, your maximum aerobic function. Okay, that's a spot where you utilize and pull the greatest amount of fat with the least amount of carbohydrates. Okay, so you're deriving almost all of your energy from fat. Okay, this other one here is fat calories and then carbohydrates. This crossover here is an important part. Okay, this is where you go full sugar, very similar to your anaerobic threshold. Okay, so anything to this side, you're kind of on borrowed time, right? You only have so much of that fuel that you can pull from your body, right? You can only store so much of that before you kind of run out or your performance starts to drop. So with Ticker, what we're finding is that we're able to push this MAF to the right, okay, which means you're pulling more fat for a longer period of time. And we'll get into why that's good in a minute. And then we're also seeing this crossover get pushed to the right as well. Okay. Does everybody understand or have a question of why that would be good or bad? Okay. So if this is your point where your sustainable work starts to stop and we can move that to the right, can you guys understand how both athletic performance and health that would be better? So Kate showed you a lot of this stuff, but this one here, I did this graph here to show like maybe what somebody, like some of our typical tests from people that just are starting this graph are. And it's essentially, you can't really determine their MAF and you can't really determine their crossover. They just go full sugar right from the start. Okay. This would just be somebody that we would call kind of like metabolically like in distress. Okay. It's like you only utilize carbohydrates for the majority of your energy, not only at work, but at rest. Okay. Now, the other thing that we want to talk a little bit about to make sure you guys are aware and understand is your RER. That's your respiratory exchange ratio. And Kate showed you on that first graph where you had we'll use red and CO2, right? And then we'll use green as oxygen. And what we want to see is a big gap here. And then as intensity increases, it gets narrower. That's what we want to see. Everybody still with me? Can everybody understand why being able to exhale less CO2 is a good thing? This RER number is represented as equals stress. Got it? 0.75 is all fat. 1.0 equals like hyperventilating. Got it? Does everybody understand why we want to have a lower RER during rest and work? Okay? Sometimes people ask me, they want to know the study that's been done on this. I'm like, well, we're doing that study, first of all. But a lot of this work has already been done in all of the endurance communities. I'm just kind of bringing it to this high intensity world of CrossFit and just saying, whoa, maybe we need to slow down a little bit the majority of the time. Okay? So if you understand that your RER, or that's a relationship between CO2 out and O2 in, we're still following me, right? And we want to bring in more oxygen and let less CO2 out. Does everybody understand that that would mean your just daily life is going to have less stress? Are you still with me? Didn't lose anybody, right? Okay. And what we've shown is to improve this through this type of training. Not only that, but our athletes are getting faster, stronger. Okay. Why? Because they're able to handle more reps, more volume. They're able to just come to the gym more often, and they're working out at a really sustainable effort. Okay, this MAF heart rate, your maximum aerobic function, right? This point here, this is inducing almost, can't say none, but almost zero inflammation if you can stay here. Got it? This is that moment right when you start to want to open your mouth. Not when you fight to keep your mouth closed, but when you're kind of like, I kind of want to open my mouth. That's generally that point there. Dr. Maffetone, he's who came up with all of this. He was coaching Mark Allen in the 70s and 80s. And he's the one that he came up with this math method essentially by watching athletes run. And over time, he studied enough of them, and he found a correlation between when people would start to break down at their heart rate and when they could just kind of run at that most efficient manner. And he found to be 180 beats minus your age. So when we start talking about, well, what's your math? What do you want it to be? We want it to be about 180 beats minus your age, maybe better. Okay? It's difficult, right? What affects it? Well, what makes it poor? Let's start with that. What makes your math go down or have a lower math? Lots of stress. Okay? And what do I term as stress? Well, everything is stress, right? Does everybody understand, or have you heard the term like homeostasis? Okay, your body has an innate ability to be in perfect health. What does that mean? Well, it means different things to everybody, but your body knows. And the minute you do anything, it's in a constant battle to get back to homeostasis. Got it? Still with me, everybody? All right. So, what causes your body to get out of homeostasis? I don't know, picking up a marker off the floor. It's a tiny bit of stress, but still stress. What's the opposite spectrum of that? I don't know, your husband or your wife just got in a car accident. Or you fill your face constantly with refined carbohydrates. You sleep poorly every night, right? You fight constantly with the urge to not eat carbohydrates. That stresses you out. And then what do? You come in your gym and we say, go, 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 go. And you've already had this full glass of stress from the day. And then we say, go, 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 go. And then you overfill. So now you've done all of this great training. It feels like it, right? You flail around on the floor and you've done this work because that's what we've been taught, right? We've been as a society, the no pain, no gain is the only way to get fit, right? Well, truly the only way to get fit is to manage your stress. Apply just enough stress that you can easily adapt to over time. Got it? Now, I am not saying, and I'm not going to even try to argue that what we're trying to do is going to get you more fit in 6 weeks than high intensity work. I'm not going to have that. Like, that's just not realistic. Got it? Now, why would I stand here and say, well, we need to slow down when I just would tell you that? Well, what happens after those 6 weeks? Well, either you quit or you get your goal, or you got hurt or you quit because you said, I can't do that every day to myself. Or you're really resilient and you make it maybe 2 or 3 years before you say, I can't keep doing this to myself. Or you've reached a plateau with your fitness, with your performance, and with your health. Got it? So, we are going to slow you guys down on a daily basis. Dr. Steven Seiler, all he did was study elite level endurance athletes and what they did. He didn't coach them. He just studied what they did. And what he found, and this was rowers, runners, cyclists, just typical endurance athletes. And they spend 90% of their training in this aerobic state. Got it? Okay. So why, as average people, let's just make an assumption that these elite athletes do that because they want to be at their best. Can we make that assumption? Right? So if they want to be they're performing at their best, and we want to perform at our best, just maybe our goals are a little different. Why would we be different? Why would we think high intensity every day is the way to get there? Got it? Well, because somebody did a study on a bunch of unfit college kids for 6 weeks, and the study showed in all of their cardiovascular, the A1, L1C, all those numbers showed to go down in the 6 weeks more than in the high intensity, more than in the low intensity. Well, great. What we didn't do is we didn't study what happens after 3, 5, 10 years. Got it? Keep in mind, we don't even talk about probably the kids that didn't make it through the study. Okay? Now, the other thing I want you guys to be aware of, I'm not anti-intensity. I just want you to understand it should be applied appropriately. And when should it be applied? It should be applied when this is pushed, your anaerobic threshold, your crossover, is pushed as far to the right as you can get it through aerobic training. Got it? Everybody understand that? How do you improve this? By slowing down. How do you improve this? By slowing down. How do you screw it up? By adding too much intensity, too much stress that you can't adapt to. Cool? So we do this, get this as far to the right as we can, and when you stop improving this, or when you stop improving this, now we get to have a conversation. Or we get to add a little bit of your 5 to 10% of intensity like Steven Seiler was studying. Does everybody understand that? Why do we want to add a little intensity? One, because it's fun, right? We like to do that to ourselves for some reason. But also because it will push this maybe even a little bit further to the right, as long as it's applied appropriately. If we attack this too often with high intensity, it'll regress. Some of the worst tests that we've seen metabolically that do this would be what you would appear to be really, really healthy people. CrossFitters for a long time, really fit. This is more like what you'd expect somebody that's pre-diabetic. Got it? So when we start slowing you down and we change this, this person here craves sugar. Generally, doesn't sleep that great. Doesn't handle stress all that well. Is probably sick a couple times a year. Got it? Whereas this person is, more robust, can handle more stress thrown at them. Okay? Got it? So what does this look like in class? Some of you have seen some of it, yes? Okay, most everybody here has seen a little bit of it or done some of it. What was your impressions? Don't be shy. Okay. Okay. What's that? Yeah. Okay. And you guys were just kind of playing at 180 minus your age, right? Yeah. So that's one of the things we want to avoid, other than during your, when I do something like a 3-minute on, 1 minute off, I want you to work that entire 3 minutes. Okay. You need to be a little bit flexible with yourself here, especially at first. You need to not look at this as like, I cannot go above what those numbers that Kate just gave me. Got it? You need to kind of look at them like, I'm going to do the best I can. And if I need to, maybe instead of doing 6 pull-ups, maybe I only do 4, so I can keep moving instead of standing there waiting for your heart rate to come down. Got it? Instead of doing 8 wall balls, maybe it's only 6. I'm doing my best programming to try to help you have success. But right, we've got a whole gamut of people. Now, granted, the people that I schedule 4 for can just do more rounds. But really, use the bike. So if, let's say it's 10 pull-ups, 10 calories on the bike, 10 air squats, 10 calories on the bike, 20-minute AMRAP. Just try to get off that bike maybe 5 beats below your math. Does everybody understand that? And then just go do the work. Don't get stressed out about it. Don't stand there and look at your heart rate and be like, oh, I can't do anything. But let's say you do the round and you look up and you're like, whoa, I am way out of whack. Just next round, do less reps and see how that works out. And put these in your notes. The thing that makes Ticker successful is when you see progress. Because we'll redo random workouts at your aerobic pace. And then the next time you'll do, a minute faster or 30 more reps. And then you'll look at your notes and you'll go back and you can go into your self loops account where you look at your heart rate. You're like, wow, I was 2 minutes faster and my heart rate was 10 beats lower. Like, let that sink in for a minute. Right? We've reduced the stress that you've put on your body when you came to the gym, and you've done more work than you could prior. Got it? That equates to better health, better performance long term. Does it happen overnight? No. Some. Ryan did test, was that the 11th of January? And his math went from 150 or 140 to 150. And that didn't happen until second, 350 this time. It happened at second 300 last time. And Ryan had a really good first test. I don't see that very often. He utilizes fat well. Okay. Manages stress well. Must sleep well. I don't know how he does it. Okay. I was going to show you a graph here. Oh, during your workouts, we made this mistake with Coach Claire. You guys all met Claire, yes? Claire, you don't mind me sharing this story, do you? Okay. All right. All right. So I'll first talk about what I want, and then I'll show you what Claire did. Okay. So if this is your math, and this is heart rate, and this is time, we want your workouts to kind of look like this. Okay. What do they look like at first? Okay. Why is that? You just haven't put the time in with wall balls, thruster, right? This is, just imagine this is, rowing. This is pull-ups, rowing, wall balls. Got it? You guys see what will happen over time with enough reps aerobically where your body doesn't just freak out because you're going to do a pull-up or freak out because you're going to do a squat. Because we've been taught. You've taught yourself that you need to have your adrenaline on to do this. So you can walk in that gym and just be overly excited. That's a stressful situation that you really don't need to do. My guess is everybody here has other stresses in their life. Yes, fair. Do a lot of days and just feel like, God, I just need a break, right? And then you come in here and you just go, 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 go. Got it? And so eventually what happens here, let's just give you another minute here. Eventually this will, go like this, right? Before it gets down to that other one. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of you might not ever get to this lower one. That's okay. This is better than this. This is all better than this. Got it? This is assuming your goal is to be happy, healthy, fit, and do this for a really long time without aches and pains, waking up in the morning feeling really good, going to bed feeling really good, not being a jerk to your wife, being patient with your kids. Are those all goals? Yes? Right? So what we did with Coach Claire is a rule follower. She's also very successful at everything she does. But what Claire would do, I have to keep saying your name. So Claire would work out like this. And this math training is difficult for Claire. That's fair to say. Yes, Claire? Yeah, Claire is pole vaulted at U of M. She's an explosive athlete. You know, when she does pull-ups, it's beautiful, real tight, like a gymnast. Make her do some toes to bars that makes everybody angry. Right? But that is an athlete that is going to, her essence and her nature, this is going to be hard work for her. Like mentally, it's taxing for her to slow down because her essence and her nature is to be explosive. She has a lot of type 2 muscle fibers, not a lot of type 1. Got it? So, but what she was doing here is she was like, because she didn't want to see any red on the board and she wanted to be a good coach and, like support me. And because keep in mind, when we started this at Treetown, you guys, we didn't have this Pinoe. I just had this theory and I was listening and reading. I was like, we're going to do this in CrossFit. And I started noticing that people were getting faster and the heart rates were coming down. And I was still getting a little bit of pushback from some members. And I was like, okay. So I actually bought like a $12,000 metabolic cart so I could start proving what we were doing was working. And then this company came out like the day that we found out we just had gotten that cart and the sensor was bad. So we're like, yes. So we sent that thing back and these were like, more affordable for us to do. So anyway, I keep getting off track with Claire here. So Claire was really trying to support me and doing a good job as an athlete and then as a coach so she could set a good example, right? But she would go so slow on the bike, so she would only hit her math at the end of her set of 10 pull-ups. Do you guys get that? So now she spent 0 time at her math. Got it? Like maybe like during this whole workout, a minute and a half maybe. Where really we want you to spend as much. So a pretty good guide is if when you finish the day and your average is somewhere near your math, you're kind of like, okay, it wasn't too bad. Because some days I'm like, oh man, did a bad job on that one. And I'll get my average. I'm like, okay, it was okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Don't solely trust the average though. Coach might start it, stop it late or something, okay? Just let it run. Just let it run. I had a bad day. Okay, so everybody understands and grasps this? Okay. One of the main things that you'll have to start to have a shift is your mindset towards this. Okay, if your goal is to feel good, lose some fat, enjoy your life, you have to understand what this training will do for you is like, you have to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. But I can promise you, like, if Brian and Kelly didn't do the research and really believe in this, they would not be introducing this to you guys. If they didn't feel in their heart and in their bones that this isn't the best thing for you, because this is, Kelly, Brian, is this scary? Is this scary? Yeah, because it's been successful, but you're also starting to see things that maybe over time after being in gym for a few years, like for me, I kind of got woken up. Like I had just done the Open. I just qualified for the Masters qualifier. And I was walking with my wife. This is my favorite story. She's like 3 months pregnant. We're going for a little walk. I'm like, baby, I gotta sit down. Too fit to be out here walking with you right now. And that was no joke. I'd run into Target because that's what I do. I run everywhere. And I'd get in there and be like, they run fast. And I'm like out of breath. Well, why? Well, my adrenaline was kicking on. You're like, oh, you're going to run, you're going to exercise. What I had done to myself year after year That's how I associated exercise, work, stress. Here you go. Here's your adrenaline. Does that sound like that's healthy? No. Right? So I always kind of make the joke. Like here I am preaching like I come join CrossFit Tree Town. Let me put your arm around you and like we're gonna take care of you. 3, 2, 1, go. Right? Does everybody remember those days? Like you made it through that because you're resilient and it was important to you. Right? So for me, I think back to all the people that, didn't stick. I'm like, man, they really could have used my help. Right? So this is a manner in which you can every day come to the gym and you can kind of monitor your health. Because this math, you're going to get to know it really, really well. So if your math is 140 and you get on the bike most days and you can bike 55 RPMs, that's your math. Got it? And then there's some days, like right now, I've been traveling a bunch and I'm doing a lot of talks like this, and that's new for me. So it's a stress. Right now, I get on the bike and at my math, I'm about 48, 49. And you're like, well, you're getting worse. Well, no, I've added a whole bunch of stress to my life. A whole bunch. Big deal to me, right? Just coming here and seeing you guys is stressful in a good way, right? But again, so you guys understand what a gift this is to understand this. So instead of me coming in and ignoring this and being like, oh, I got to get my workout in, I got to get 5 rounds because Alex did 5 rounds. I don't care what Alex did. Alex isn't traveling. He's doing his other stuff. He's got his own stresses. Does that make sense? Where I'm at today is I'm right here. And that's important because as soon as I go to 145, this starts to drop and inflammation occurs. Stress, sugar burn. You guys are all sitting there maybe like, why do I want to be a fat burner? Okay. Fat utilizes a lot of oxygen to break it down. And it's a very simple, easy avenue for you to get energy. Sugar is a much more complex breakdown for ATP. And then it gives off 70% of the energy that it created to break it down. It gives it off in heat. It's like gasoline compared to diesel. Got it? So what causes heat, right? Inflammation, sore muscles, not sleeping as well, sugar cravings. Got it? So if we can teach you to be able to improve this, and then all of a sudden this is 60 RPMs, that's still here. Got it? And I'm now going 60 RPMs at this, and I'm not inducing any stress, inflammation. Got it? That's what this is all about. And if you say, I'm not getting any better, this is stupid, I don't want to do this, we can look at your self loops and we can say, well, maybe you're going a little too fast. Or maybe we can say, what have you been eating? How have you been sleeping? That's probably one of the the best things that it's been for our gym is we create a lot more understanding with our members. Because if somebody generally does a good job in class, they keep their heart rate down, and then all of a sudden they're struggling, you can kind of walk up, put your hand on their back, be like, what's going on? You usually don't have this high of a heart rate. Oh, I didn't sleep much. I'm doing 3 people's jobs at work. A kid had me up all night throwing up. You guys get that? I just found out I had to have some cells scraped on my cervix. The real conversations that we've had. You get really intimate in knowing your clients and your members and your people in your gym, right? Just kind of that's been one of the side effects of this work. Would you say, coaches? Kind of one of the cool things. And then we start having conversations around food. What'd you eat last night? Chinese. Look at your heart rate's kind of high. Then it does it again. What'd you have last night? Chinese. I know. I can't have sweet and sour chicken. As much as I like it, I can't eat it. Right? I'm not like tonight I had that burrito. I didn't eat the skin, but I ate everything inside. Still a lot of carbohydrates for me. Over the years, I have done so much high intensity work that I am very carbohydrate intolerant. It spikes my insulin very fast and shows up in my heart rate very quickly. I've got a lot of repair to do from my years of doing that. It's okay. What else I got to do? You know what I mean? Like, so when I sit down on that row and I'm like, this is so easy. And my mindset is, this is the best training I can be doing right now. Because all I'm doing is getting better at this heart rate. Got it? Now you can get better, right, at this heart rate. You can get better there too, but at what cost? Does that make sense? Now all of a sudden you're just better at buffering lactate. That's not sustainable, first of all. And there's a lot of inflammation, a lot of stress. When you get really good at this and you're doing mostly aerobic work and then we throw like a nasty test at you and you realize how shitty you feel the rest of the day, you're like, man, I'm glad I don't do that to myself very often anymore. Claire always has a great joke. Somebody's like, because what some of the complaints will be after you start doing this is, I just feel like I can't go hard anymore. Meanwhile, you'll be going faster and your scores will be better, but you'll be like, I just don't feel good when I go hard anymore. And like, as a coach, we'll point out, but you're faster. Yeah, but I just don't feel good anymore. Right? And Claire's joke is, I'm going to swear here. Why the fuck would you want to? If you can go faster and it feels better, why would you want to hurt yourself? Well, that's a pretty simple one. A lot of ego and a lot of self-worth is brought from being able to kill yourself in here. Being the best, winning the whiteboard. How does that start? I've talked about this a little bit. For me, and some of you might recall or reflect on yourself, but for me, it started when I was about 7 years old. I grew up on a farm. My dad was always busy, but when I ran down the lane and back, he'd be proud of me. Oh, way to go. Pat on your back. Cool. Run down, run back. Dad, I did it in 7 minutes this time. Cool. Way to go. Come back, done. Did it in 7:30. Oh, that's it. 7:30. Oh, that's it. Dad, I did it in 6:20 this time. Whoa, way to go. Then it perpetuates. All of a sudden, 40 years old, still wanting that pat on the back. You get it? Might not be from my dad, but it's from everybody else in the class that either I almost beat or just beat. Got it? Doesn't sound like really a very healthy attachment to exercise, does it? Like long-term, sustainable. Like, so I'm killing myself. I'm one thruster away from throwing out my back on a daily basis for that attaboy. Right? So what we're changing is your mindset here. We're changing your goals a little bit. Because if I ask everybody in here, what's your goal? Why do you come to the gym? Does anybody come here for being stronger, lifting more weight? Yes, it's one of your goals. What if I said, okay, awesome. Well, you can do that. You're just going to slow down a little bit, and your goal is going to take a little longer to get there, but you'll get there. And I can promise you're not going to get hurt. Right? Because if you said, I want to have a 500-pound deadlift, cool, let's do it. It's going to take 12 years because right now you're at 200 pounds. And the person's like, well, I don't want to take 12 years. Well, okay, well, how long do you want to take? I want to do it next year. Okay. So you understand what that means is we're going to have to overload you excessively to get you to that. And you're most likely going to get hurt. Most likely. Are you willing to risk long-term effects of getting hurt? And would everybody say no to that? Right? So if you're kind of with me here, you'll get to your goals. Just be patient. Enjoy the process. Because now you're going to do these workouts and you're going to have like, we talk about community. And yet we come to the gym, we talk a little bit here and there in between the workout and the strength and stuff. And then 3, 2, 1, go. All you want to do is smash your friend. Oh, they're getting a little ahead of me. Just not my day. They're just better at burpees than me. Right? And you don't talk to them, or you don't have any clue of what's going on around you. You have no recollection. Well, now when you slow down, like you just have more opportunity to talk. And passing, you give more 5s. You get more chatting time. The only reason now you won't want to chat is because it affects your math. As soon as you start, As soon as you start talking, it's 12 beats. You really should ignore that, Rise. Enjoy it. Talk. What's that? Got it. That's all right. You're just going to have to get good at breathing through your talking. Does this all kind of make sense to you guys? We're still going to do strength work. It's very important because when you're first starting this, I need you to do a whole bunch of long work. I need you to do a whole bunch of longer workouts. Getting the strength in sometimes is difficult during this portion. Just get some of it in. Got it? If you need to stop a workout, coaches are going to time cap stuff or help you. Just know the more time you spend at this heart rate, the better it's going to get. The faster you're going to get at it. Got it? Every now and then I get into sugar WOD and people are disappointed in their performance that it took them 50 minutes. And my comment is always like, hey, you got 50 minutes at your math and you did 80 power cleans. Like, how bad could that be? Rowing and power cleans, and you got 50 minutes of work at your math, improving your health for that day. That's the mindset. I know it's not 7 minutes. Why we talking in CrossFit, in exercise, we're like, we're going to train you for life. I don't know about you guys, but it takes me more than 7 minutes to rake my leaves. Think about it. When you rake your leaves, does it not take your breath sometimes? And you're like, I thought I was fit. That's a problem. You should be able to rake your leaves for 10 hours. Maybe just your hands get sore. All right? Does that all make sense to you guys? These are all real things. At first, you're like, man, these workouts are really long. Or you're going to look on Sugar WOD and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a 50-minute workout. I promise you, if you stay at your math, piece of cake. You're going to leave the gym and you're like, sweet, I could have done that again. Right? Be patient. It gets better. You guys have any questions? Do you guys want to see a little bit of proof in the pudding? Want to see some graphs? You can ask. Go ahead. Oh, is she getting her food? I'm going to show you an extreme example. I used to show Alex's graphs back there, but I got a new one maybe that he's going to get mad. All right, first of all, so this is one of the athletes from CrossFit Twabor. Can you guys see that? Kind of. Alex, how am I doing? Is this talk better than my last one? All right. Is it better on time too? Oh, I won't do that to you guys. Mostly because I'm tired. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to move this a little bit. So this was, gentlemen. Okay. So this first graph, right? Kate explained this to you. Oxygen in, CO2 out. You can see the difference. Yes. That's at rest. And then also as it gets more intense, you can see it takes him longer. He gets about 700 seconds there. I don't know if he ever gets there on that second test. Yeah, he doesn't before. You see that, you guys? That's incredible. Now this is somebody that trains a lot. He's a very aerobically robust athlete. The notes there, can you see? Kate told him he had a MAF of 100 the first time, and we want him to train 105 to 123, avoid going over 130. His notes now is 137, train between 137 and 160, avoid going over 170. It's pretty awesome, right? Let's see, his first test was 12:30, and his second test was 2:06. Now, this is somebody that trains like 2 hours a day. This is an exercise addict. But he was training 2 hours a day here as well. That's okay that he's an exercise addict. I'm just giving him an appropriate way where he's not going to hurt himself anymore. Because this is also somebody that's had surgeries, sore knees, sore shoulders constantly. Now he will tell you now he doesn't have any of that. Those are key factors to understand here, okay? From just like, I don't know, maybe body composition. You guys can see this as well. Like, see his crossover here on this one. See how far that's at 700 seconds. Like he shows a crossover like 300 here. You can see that. See the amount of fat he utilized on this first test compared to the second test. Yellow is fat. So how do you get here? Well, you have to train 3 hours a day. Well, you have to train 3 hours a day if you want to get this kind of results in a month. Does that make sense? Would everybody be okay if they did this kind of thing in a year? By coming to the gym 3 days a week? Right? Which one's going to get to their goals faster of being leaner? His is performance oriented. We can show you lots of these, you guys. Yes. Yeah. So it's just going to take time. And, there's some transition periods here, right? So if you're used to eating a lot of carbohydrates and you stop some of that, that can be a stressful situation in your body, right? So you may or may not like that. You might gain a little weight while you're doing that because your body is being stressed and it's going to hold on to fat. You just have to be patient. There's going to be a time where you're going to come into the gym and you're like, I just don't really feel very strong right now. Okay, why is that? Well, because you're still in this process of becoming somebody that utilizes fat. Got it? Utilizing fat as a fuel source at higher intensities takes a lot of work. What is lifting weights? Generally, higher intensity, higher heart rate. So if you're used to only pulling carbohydrates for that, and now all of a sudden your body's in this little limbo, like, wait, I thought I wanted to use fat. Well, just be patient. That's all part of the becoming metabolically flexible, right? Carbohydrates will be there when you need them. When your body is in this easy, like, where you can go full sugar back to full fat in the same workout, that's when you're when you're inefficient. Like what you'll notice is if you do the strength first and then you go to do the workout after and the strength was hard for you, you'll notice that you're having a really hard time getting your heart rate under control because you've crossed over, you're in full sugar burn, and your heart rate is elevated now for the whole workout. Now, once you get more efficient, you can have a higher elevated heart rate during the strength, take 3 to 5 minutes, and you're back into burning fat. Got it? Just takes a little time. Takes practice. And we can show you a whole bunch of these, you guys. Not like this. This is in a month. This is pretty extreme. This is also somebody that they live to train. Got it? Does that bring up any questions? We'll pull up Kate there. Kate, do you know which one of these tests that, this one's probably a good one. So is it fair to say that Kate's not a really big person? Fair to say. Yeah, it's a good one. It's fine. So Kate, Kate would be somebody that might be an extreme with her diet. Maybe not. It's okay. It's what makes Kate feel good. This is everybody's a little different. But Kate, what do you eat generally on a daily basis? Sure. And you're just emaciated all day, like starving because, right? I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, you guys, like, I don't even know how she does it. She gets up every morning, 5 a.m., comes to the gym, and then she's there until, I don't know, forever, right? And there'll be days where Kate and I will be doing a podcast or something like, we should probably eat. Because when you become a fat burner, you just don't have these highs and lows and these cravings. Like, you're never, like, overly hungry. Is that fair to say? And you don't control your food. You just eat until you're full, right? All right. I want you guys to kind of recognize she's burning about, at her peak, like 13 and a half calories of fat per minute. Why is she doing that? Well, first of all, she doesn't have a lot of extra carbohydrates in there to pull from, fair to say, other than from leafy greens. Okay. Right? You can see her math is way over here. 138, 140 beats. Yeah. Well, this was on the assault runner. Yeah, it's a good test. We were having trouble with them, like because we. '53, like 153. Yes. Well, I made a mistake. I took the units to Kensington and I turned them off all night, and then we couldn't get them to work. We need to leave the units on for 3 hours to warm up the sensor, and I just screwed it up. I was like, why aren't these working? And then we figured out, and then they worked fine. So this was kind of what Kate's alluding to and talking about with all that. But you can just see, like, I just kind of, let's see. This is a really good athlete. Very high level. You can see the difference in fuel utilization. Yes. Oxygen in, CO2 out. This is also somebody that has a lot of stress. Almost zero fat in that test. Can you see that? Got it? This is somebody that is always hungry. You guys want me to analyze somebody that's here? Who's here? Give me a name. Anybody? What is it again? Just give me your first name. With an E? Yeah, so not bad, really, Elizabeth, for like your first test. Like you're going to have a completely different, because you can pull fat and actually a decent amount. See this point right here? You guys see that little green? That's like almost 5 calories of fat. There's another one, 4. So what is that about where her math is, Kate? Yeah, so right there. And you can see like at that moment, you start pulling carbohydrates, right? So on this one here, right? So this is right where an uptick and it is in carbohydrates. This is her crossover. Kate told her to not train over this, which is probably 130 or something. Okay. So the goal here is for her to increase this. How do we do it? We talked a little bit while you're on the treadmill, right? Add some more fat to your diet. Reduce some of maybe the Kodiak pancakes, maybe, just for a couple days. Okay. And that's the other thing. I'm not really one to give a lot of dietary advice. If you just become mindful and you can make a few subtle changes with your refined carbohydrates, it just kind of becomes like all of a sudden having the pancakes, so you're like, gosh, I actually don't feel that great after I eat those compared to the Ezekiel toast and butter and avocado. But you also said that an hour later you're hungry, right? So then what? What do you eat then? Right, right. So but you guys understand how that cycle of these ups and downs, because that's why you get hangry, right? All of these kinds of things. I gotta eat. Wouldn't it be great to not gotta eat? Like that's a really nice thing to not have that control your life. How does it happen? Just slowly over time, doing more work at your math just becomes part of your style. People say, what's it like doing a really good ticker session? You just kind of get into this flow. You're not standing around and bored, but you're not overworked and stressed out. You're just kind of moving, just doing it, talking a little bit, focusing on your technique, right? Working out at your math is giving you every excuse to focus on each rep. Every wall ball should be the best of your ability. Every power clean, every snatch, right? You just have time. And your body's not freaking out trying to go extra hard. So you're in a position to be able to do it. I'll let you guys go. You have any more questions? I could talk all night. These guys are like, can we go to bed? Anything you guys want to make sure you get answered, and of course, like it's a process. Just your coaches care about you, or I would not be here. I can tell you that. You guys are going to be really successful as long as you have the attitude that this is going to be fun. And that just takes a mindset. And you're going to have some people in class, they don't want to play. You guys are crazy. You're stupid. It's okay. Don't let it bother you. Just do your thing. Come test day. They might beat you the first test, but the next test, they'll notice, oh, they're getting faster. Got it? Not that that's a reason, but all of a sudden then they start playing along too. They're not as worried about the daily stuff. We test you enough to hopefully show improvement. The tests are not fun. The aerobic tests are kind of fun because they're slow. And you just kind of like, wee. As long as your mindset isn't 3 minutes per 500 on the rower, that's so slow. It's just where you are. It's okay. Still training. Still training at your math. Still training at your math. What do you think, Will? Wrap it up? Thanks, guys, for listening and hanging out, being a part of this. Don't be shy about asking questions. Like to Kelly, to Brian, they've got my text and my number. Because you'll be like, what should I do? What should I do? I can't keep it down. Just smile and do your best. Some of the workouts I have on purpose, very difficult to keep your math down. Very difficult. I want that on purpose. I'm testing you kind of accidentally. Because then the next time you're like all of a sudden a little better and you're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of cool. Then all of a sudden you start buying in more. You start playing nicer. Or you didn't buy in before and you didn't get better and some other people did and they're like, oh, maybe I better start playing along. Do you have anything to say about that, Alex? You brought it up at my last talk.
Once I did it, kind of, I was like, I took a workout where, kind of everyone else was chilling and more their heart rate was in like orange or yellow. They were talking the whole time. Every time the rest would come around, like on the floor, like dying, still in red. And then the next round would start, my heart rate still at red, and then Max going was like, "Hey, what's she eating? How you sleeping?" All the things that I like didn't focus on in the gym. If I just work out, I'm fine with it. I work out so I can eat whatever I want. Eating whatever I wanted started to backfire and started to really affect what happened in the gym.
Yeah. Share a little bit. So Alex came to us from another just typical high intensity gym, right? And came to us with a shoulder that constantly needed scaling, right?
Yeah. I haven't finished the last open workout less than 2018
Because he couldn't raise his hand. He's a swimmer. He's a good athlete here. And you weighed about what?
245.
And why did you weigh 245?
Eat a lot of food. And I also would work out for like a month or month and a half, 2 months maybe, and then I'd get injured. And I'd be told, just take 2 weeks off. And then it started 2 weeks turned into like a month, and then I just kind of was not in the gym as much and still eating whatever I wanted, and kind of just caught up to me.
So Alex showed up to our gym very inflamed. You get that? Very, very inflamed, very stressed. Got it? And then he started playing along. What do you weigh now, Alex?
Anywhere 220 plus.
What have you been down to at some point? 212. And why are you 220 right now? This is all good talk, you guys. This is all just real talk. Like this isn't a path to perfection.
School started back up for me, and then a lot of traveling. We had a lot of like cold days, so no school, and then just stress, and then it threw me off my meal planning, and wasn't sleeping as well. I'm a swim coach as well, so I have like 4 a.m. workouts to get to. So those nights I don't always sleep very well.
Right? You guys get this, right? Here's the mistake Alex made through all that stress, is he loves to work out.
Yeah, I still did 2 hours.
Yeah, you get that? And that was where he went wrong, where he should have either backed off from his math a little bit, if he still needed to be there for 2 hours for his own mental sanity, to feel like he did something. That's his problem, not mine, right? But he's learning. Do you guys get that? He recognizes it. That's okay. I'm talking to Alex like because I love and I care for Alex. It's okay for me to say that he messed that up. He knows it. He's aware of it. You get it? That's okay. This isn't not everything just fixes everything. Life happens, right? Thanks for sharing that, Alex. It's a big deal. Claire, is this easy for you? It's hard, isn't it? Do you love it all the time? Right? Do you generally feel better though? Are you getting any better at it? Slowly. Keep in mind who Claire is, you guys. If you're Claire, your essence is to be very, very powerful, very, very explosive. That's going to take time to change. You didn't really fight many injuries through your life though, did you? Yeah. Cool. It's good positive. And Jess, you guys, Jess comes to the gym and only really works out like for 15 minutes a day. So Jess just loves to train. She has unlimited energy, right? She's very aerobic. She trains literally. She'll come to the gym, go run a couple miles, do the hour workout, do some of my competitor stuff, and then go 3 mile run or 10 mile run. She's training. She's done 50 mile trail runs plus. Yes. What's your next goal? Yeah. And when was the last time you were injured? It's a pretty aerobically robust person, you guys. Like your average mileage is how much? Yeah, and you come to the gym pretty much every day. Yeah. And what's your clean and jerk now? How much do you weigh? You guys hear that? What's your snatch now? Almost a body weight. You get that? That's technique driven, right? Just a little afraid to get under the bar. Okay. What's your deadlift? What's your back squat? This is just doing this stuff, you guys. There was a week there where she had just ran like 50 miles for like 6 hours or 12 hours or something. And then we had like a test week in the gym and she was PRing everything. It's crazy. This person is just super aerobically robust. Are you ever sick, Jess? Yeah, right? Jess, people like Jess were my inspiration to know I was doing something wrong prior. Because I would watch people like Jess and I'd have everybody flailing around on the floor. And Jess would be like, I was like, how was it? She's like, it's great. Whereas everybody else is dying because she's so aerobic. Flailing around on the, yeah, but so what? Right? You guys are seeing the correlation, yes? Claire, are you diligent on your diet? That's okay. But that's okay. It's where she's at. You get that? Like, it's okay. At least now she's got a tool to help it. She's got some goals too, right? Okay. Have some fun with it, you guys. So it's different. I get it. But there's gonna be some days you really like, and then there are gonna be other days you're like, this is boring. It's okay. Sorry, I try not to make them too boring, but sometimes push-ups and box jumps are necessary. That was one that everybody said was boring. Sorry, doing 250 of each was kind of boring. Not my problem. All right, you guys have a great night. Thank you. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks.